This is the best product I have ever reviewed on my channel. That is not clickbait. It's incredible value in a market where everything is super expensive, and it's obscene. It is the Beelink EX Mate Pro. It's a like all-in-one type product. This thing here has 4 NVMe slots in it, so it's an NVMe port type hub. It has all these extra ports built in, so you can expand it. By the way, this is an 80 gigabit per second USB 4 V2, so think Thunderbolt 5, 80 gigabit, fast. Supports eGPU, upstream, downstream. So you can hook up an eGPU. You can go backwards compatible with USB 4. You can go forwards compatible with Thunderbolt 5 and 80 gigabit USBs. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you a Thunderbolt 5 eGPU in this video. Crazy. You can hook up docks and stuff like that as well. It has a speaker built in, so you can hook this up to a mini PC, laptop that's in clamshell mode, that's off to the side. My mini PC, my desktop doesn't have speakers. My laptop does, but when it's clamshell, you can't hear it. Put it off to the side, play audio to this thing. Crazy. Right? Very good. By the way, if you press the Bluetooth button there, it goes from being hooked up to your PC into Bluetooth mode. Meaning you can use it as a actual speaker, Bluetooth speaker. So if you're not using this with your PC, it doesn't become a dead weight on your desk. It turns into a freaking Bluetooth speaker. This thing is crazy. Oh, did I mention the 4 NVMe's in? Yeah, I did. Okay, we can see it here on the official Beelink website. Put some links there. And of course, the Amazon website as well. This is Amazon.com. I'll put links down below in the video description. I do not take sponsors. I do not take payments for videos. So affiliate links help me a ton because this stuff is expensive. I buy a lot of stuff on my channel. It's very expensive. So if you can use those affiliate links, it helps a ton. You don't have to, but it helps a lot. $200 or $200. Wild cheap. You may look at that and it's expensive. It's not. Trust me, this thing is effing crazy. Let's continue. Okay, so built-in power supply, 96 watt charging for your laptop. That's a ton. I can charge my Legion laptop, which takes 100 watts over USB-C, and game on it on this thing. So it does have a voice command type stuff built in. You can see there it does have the audio built in, the recording microphone, and sound out. It can also do like noise cancellation, that kind of stuff. So that's really cool. You do have fast Ethernet, 2.5 gigabit per second. Huge feature here. If it just had this would be a selling feature. Quad NVMe built in. I'll be testing that. Crazy good. You can get up to 32 terabytes. That alone sells this thing, but it does more, obviously. It does have, built-in speaker. Cool. Dual display output. You can use HDMI and USB-C for the other one. It does absolutely support an eGPU with upstream, downstream. I will test this in this video. And when you're not going to use it hooked into your PC, like here it's hooked into her PC, right? She's using it as a Bluetooth speaker, but this AI girl here realistically doesn't even need it. She could take that, throw it off her desk. That little box could just sit on her desk and she could be connecting to her phone. I will show you. So a cute little box. It may look big on camera, but it is certainly not a big product. It's actually quite tiny. Here's an iPad mini for context. It's not an iPad like a full-size one. This is a little mini iPad. Look how small that is compared to an iPad mini. It's so tiny, right? So let's just have a look at the quick design here. It does have a premium look. It's something that you would have sitting directly on your desk. Right? It's not going to go here, but it would be sitting on your desk. Technically, it's probably going to tuck right behind there, type of thing. I do have a mini PC right now. It does not have too much storage. It does have Thunderbolt 5, USB 4, 80 gigabit, which I can then use this to hook up to an eGPU. Lots of expansion, stuff like that. My mini PC does not have a speaker built in and does not have very much storage. It does not have a lot of ports. Now, if you know Beelink, then you know Beelink has been around for quite some time. They are quite potent in the mini PC. Okay, so that's that there. Take the bottom off. You just flip it, raises up. So very straightforward. Inside we have our air evacuation. It's actually an intake. That's the intake there. It'll evacuate out of other spots here. Basically there and there. Very cool. Clean little package. Nice premium plastic. Very nice. And that's inside there. So we actually have a fan on the top, which makes sense. I mean, we are going to be, this thing has NVMe slots inside. Spoiler for half of this, but you're going to be pulling air in and cooling down all the components inside, especially the NVMe. We do have our speaker right there. Nice big speaker. Quite large, to be honest. My mini PC doesn't have a speaker, so that's obviously a benefit. Your ports. 1, 2, 3, 4 NVMe slots. Now, this is the type market right now where, if you know what's going on, NVMe's and storage in general is very expensive. One of the nice things about these here is you have a lot of ports here, so you can add in like a mismatch of NVMe's, right? You can add in, like if you have, maybe you can pick up some affordable, 512 like this. You pick up a affordable 512, slap that in there. It's not too bad. Maybe you have some other stuff lying around. Like this is just literally in my drawer. This is this a 256? This is a 512 as well. Slap that in. There's a 2230, right? Doesn't have to be full size. You can see you do have 2230, 2242, 2280. So you can slap in various sizes there, right? Maybe you have some completely mismatched drives, like a 256, a 512, 128, and a 4 terabyte, right? Just a complete mismatch of drives. This is a nice thing because you can put them all in there. You don't have to RAID it or anything like that, right? You don't have to throw them in RAID, so they don't have to be matching. It's not required. I am fortunate enough that I test things on YouTube, so I have a fairly decent selection of NVMe's over the years. Interesting. So this one, I didn't even need the pad, to be honest. Just took it right off because that's touching right into that. And that's a big piece of metal. So I guess you can leave the thermal pad on if needed, or you could adjust it. I'm going to take the pad right off, to be honest, because I don't need it. Now these are sitting completely flush. You could put the NVMe, if you have a dual-sided NVMe, which I do not have, but if you did have one, you could take this off and slap it on the back there. Keep that cool. This is actually touching. I don't know if you can see that. That's actually touching the metal frame there. This is metal. So it's going to work as a heatsink, and it has a fan. So it's going to be cooled passively into the metal and actively into the actual side. Why that matters is your NVMe's are going to be, the chips are on this side and they're actually going to be touching into this metal. So it's going to work as a cooling. I feel like that is very rare to see that type of engineering. A lot of brands would just, I don't know, it's just like natural for them to have them facing out so you can see them. They would face out like that, but then this is exposed, right? You actually want this to be in here so that it's touching against the metal, which it works perfect, right? That's a heat sink right there, both passively cooled by the metal that they're now touching, and then that metal is going to be actively cooled by that fan on top. So that's that there. Very, very, very easy to upgrade, right? Just slap that in there, put that back on, close it up, and away we go. And there we are set up right in front of us. It's not going to reside here when I'm done with this video. When I'm done with this video, it's going to go off to the side, but it's the focus of the video, so I want it to be in focus in the middle. We can actually bring it down, right? But we're just going to set it there for the time being, and we're going to get this thing started.
Power on, PC mode.
Okay, so, all right, PC mode. We can see that is plugged in. We're running over here. Those drives that I put in are not formatted. It's going into the back, running to my PC. We'll clean up the wires on that later, but that's a later problem. The back one is where I'm going to be plugging it into whatever device I'm working on. Mini PC most of the time, but if I come along with my laptop MacBook, that's going to be plugged in there. Then if I need to plug in enclosures, they'll go into the front. If I need to plug in my eGPU, Thunderbolt 5 eGPU, or 4, it can be 4 as well. It's backwards compatible. You can plug that in there. So I already it just imported that I had previous. I tested something. I don't remember, probably a NAS or something, and I just imported that storage right there. I have it striped, so it'll run across them. This is the other two right here. Okay, so there we go. The way I have this set up, because I'm going to be using it, I do have a Mac, but I use it more on Windows. I did set these ones up in a RAID. You can see up here we do have 4 terabyte. So we can see it does support that. So I have disk 7 and disk 8, and they are combined into a single stripe drive there. So there we go. Now I have tons of storage. Now this Mini actually does have a decent amount of storage. It's a pretty big Mini. A lot of the times your Mini is only going to come with 1 drive, right? Maybe 2. Nowadays you can maybe get 2 on a Mini, but a lot of times you only have 1 drive. So the nice thing is, you can really expand your storage for something like this. The fact that this is so tiny, right? Just a tiny little thing. You get your Mini PC, you sit it right beside that tiny little Mini PC, and you get extra storage, right? Like here's the footprint of just a Mini PC. Right, typical like Beelink style size here. Right, slap that in there. This one here actually only has 1 NVMe inside, doesn't actually have 2. This Mini here is not a heavy storage type 1, it's just a little bit, so it's nice. You're going to be able to expand that quite a bit. Okay, so now we are going to test the speeds of the NVMe's and the ports in general. We'll start with the NVMe's here. So we'll also check the thermals as well. So we have our Lexar. We have the Oracle drives, and we have one more over here. the other Lexar. So you can see them there. Okay. Those two are in striped. And then we have the two that are called Beelink. So we'll come down here and we'll check the idle temperatures. So moving in. The Lexar and Lexar, they're idling pretty low. 38, 38, 45. For some reason that one's higher. Whatever. It's nothing. 42, 40. Right, these are Gen 4 drives, so that's totally fine. What we'll do here is we'll actually put a load on one of them. Test the speeds, but also put a workload on them. So we'll test the Oracle here, like one of the Oracles, which was, doesn't really matter. We'll just go with G. So we'll go with G. We don't need to run the whole thing for speeds. I mean, we'll get an idea of it, but I do want to run it because I want to get the temperatures here. So it is, okay, that one right there, getting a little warmer, obviously. That's actually better, faster than I thought. That's 20 gigabit per second speeds, basically. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, just because the actual device will run at 80 gigabit per second, like the connection, doesn't mean every single NVMe can run at that kind of speed. Doesn't make sense. But this is actually running at approximately 20 gigabit speed. A lot of the times when you get these NVMe type products where there's a multiple setup, each of them will run at a 10. So you'd get 1,000 megabytes a second out of each one. We're getting substantially higher than that. Rates are good. Honestly, it's faster than I thought. That's actually going to be pretty good. And the fact that it's not getting hot at all and it's going to write that fast, this is actually good for, I mean, obviously you can use it for like, I don't know, games and stuff like that. You can use it for video storage and movies and stuff like that and photos. But you can actually do your video editing right off of it. You don't need an incredibly fast NVMe for video editing. You just need a good NVMe. Because, I mean, you're not going to be encoding faster than that regardless. That's quite good. And you can see that the thermals are unchanged. So that's really good. Let's stop for a second here. And we're going to actually do this one, M. That's the striped drive. Come in here. I'm just curious about what it does with this and in terms of temperatures as well. Okay, so it is working. It's actually doubling the speed, or basically doubling the speed. So if you do actually set up, a Windows level RAID type setup, it is going to actually work. And you can see there we do have the striped combined drives. So you could do all four theoretically. Like I could do 2, 2, 2, and 2, which I'm not going to do that because I actually kind of want to have two of them combined for, faster speeds, if I need to do some heavy burst workloads, that kind of stuff. But then I also do want to have my individuals here. So I can have, this as a stripe drive or whatever, and then I can have these separated. It's your choice. You guys better have love for me. I put in a Samsung 990 Pro, which was in a RAID in a different device that I was using. So I had to actually kill it, but it wasn't that important, but it is a pain in the ass for me. So you guys better appreciate this. I'm doing this test for you guys. And I compromised my own data. Okay, so we have our 990 Pro called J. Run that again. I just want to see how fast it goes. Theoretically, it should go a little faster than this. This is a Western Digital Blue. It's okay, but it's not the fastest drive at all. A 990 Pro is very fast, so I do expect a bit of a speed bump here. And look at that. That's very fast. Thunderbolt 5 / USB 4 V2, basically 80 gigabit per second speeds, is going to give you very fast. This device here, this Beelink, if you have the proper enclosure, you're going to be able to max out NVMe's, unless you get a Gen 5 drive, which does make sense. You would never do that, unless you're crazy. A Gen 4 drive, totally maxing it out. Gen 3, you actually couldn't, right? Like these things were too fast for Gen 3 drives. Here's a Gen 4 drive, we're throwing it in here, and it's having no problems. This enclosure is a little weird, but whatever. It's great. So nice and fast. Very, very, very fast. Very good. That right there is my 5060 Ti. It is a 5060 Ti eGPU. It's actually just like a prototype unit type thing, but it is what it is. Okay, now let me show you something over here. See how it's flashing? It's doing some stuff. External 5060 has been connected. Very good. Okay, we can see up here, 5060 Ti. Clearly I don't have a 5060 Ti desktop. That's the desktop one, 16 gigabyte inside of my mini PC. That doesn't make sense. So I have now connected a 5060 Ti to the mini PC. Now, one other thing to be considerate of here is you're not necessarily locked. If you do hook up an eGPU like this, you're not necessarily locked into using it or not using it. You could do, maybe your system has something else in it. Right? Maybe you're not using a mini, maybe using a laptop with dedicated graphics. For example, I have a Lenovo Legion with a 5070 mobile. it works. It's nowhere as fast as this. I have mini PC. My mini PC has a 5060 hooked up to it. 5060 is not nearly as fast as a 5060 Ti, right? Not even close. So when you come in here, if you have dedicated graphics already on your system, maybe you do, maybe you do not, you aren't locked into it, right? So you can still have this eGPU hooked up here, and you can set individual programs to use different things. So I could have the individual program using the 5060. I can have an individual program using the 5060 Ti. I mean, for me, I would use the 5060 Ti in every single situation, but maybe you have an AMD eGPU, then you have an NVIDIA eGPU. Every game's different. Some games prefer one, some games prefer the other. You can get a much more powerful AMD GPU for the same price as an NVIDIA one these days. So you could get a 9070 XT and it would cost you the same as a 5060 Ti in some cases. It'd be way more powerful. So you're not locked into it. That's really cool there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to set that up and tell it, use the 5060. Don't use the iGPU. Don't use the 5060. We want to use the 5060 Ti. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to grab this video here, put that in here. Now this mini PC has a decent CPU, so it doesn't matter. The video editing process in this program that I use is not super GPU heavy. It's going to be primarily based on the CPU, so that's fine. But when I do my exporting, it's going to be very GPU heavy. Okay, come in here, make it more complicated, make it a 4K 60, same output, come in here. Now I can access those NVIDIA NVEC encoders like that there, and we can run it. I mean, it's not the biggest video, but you couldn't do this on an iGPU, put it that way. iGPUs are closer to being 1:1 approximately for video editing, if it's 4K 60 I've found. So here, I mean, we're doing a 4K 60 video, 5 minutes, and it's going to take approximately 1 minute. So it's very fast using that 5060 Ti. And to be honest, this system I just set up. It's not even optimized. I could get it to go faster, 4 or 5 times faster. And that's just a 5060 Ti. There are much bigger GPUs than this, but that's a possibility. But the thing that can be considered here is this is Thunderbolt 5, USB 80 gigabit per second compatible. So if you have a 80 gigabit per second eGPU like that, or a Thunderbolt 5 one, whatever, you're going to get fantastic performance out of it. Of course, you can still use backwards compatible. You don't have to use that. You can use USB 4. If you don't have access to a Thunderbolt 5, USB 5 type product, that's okay. Okay, so here's something you wouldn't be able to do on a mini PC, and that's play Pragmata at these type resolutions. Now, I could output directly from this here, just as a proof of concept. I could output directly from here. It's always better to do so if possible. Outputting directly to your external screen does minimize any type of signal loss due to bandwidth. However, that is much, much, much less of an issue on Thunderbolt 5 and USB 4 80 gigabit per second. That increased bandwidth really does help if you're outputting. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually putting this eGPU back through this over here. It's like when you have a handheld, right? If you have a handheld, you hook up an eGPU to this here, which I can do, hook up an eGPU to this here, and rather than outputting to an external screen, which gives you the best performance, you input back onto this screen here. When you're using USB 4 or Thunderbolt 4, you actually do get a pretty significant penalty. It can be like 30-35% penalty. It can be pretty considerable, sometimes even more, it can be even higher because of the bandwidth limitations of USB 4. Here, we're doing the same type idea, it's just on this screen here. I'm not even outputting directly from this eGPU, but because this is 80 gigabit, USB 80 gigabit, there's going to be significantly less of a performance penalty doing so. Look at that. Now, this is a pretty heavy situation here. This is a 5060 Ti, and I'm doing 1440p ultra-wide balanced, which is one step down from performance like max, and I'm getting a smooth 85. Obviously, the mini PC couldn't even fathom doing this. Obviously, it's not even close, right? Like, it's a mini PC. So you can see here, we're going from this 5060 Ti eGPU. It's an eGPU, 5060 Ti, and I'm not exporting externally directly from this. You could. That's the best way to do it. Absolutely, that's the best way to do it. But I'm going to prove to you here that you can get also really good benefit if you go right back into the device. So, because you can buy some of these here, have a dock type setup. We're going to go right back into here, into the Beelink. The Beelink is going to go over to my mini PC over there, and I am getting a 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte right here. And this is, this is pretty high settings. This is 1440p ultra wide with second from the top performance. Right? It's not performance, but it's second from the top. This is a brutal This is a brutal demand on the system here. Like truly, this is really, really demanding. A lot of mini PCs you can get very budget ones, but you can get them with pretty good CPUs. Like, they have a pretty respectable CPU, but they either don't have any dedicated graphics in them, or they have an iGPU. And the iGPU, I mean, the best iGPU on the market, literally the best that exists, isn't even close to this in performance. Like, there is no iGPU that can get close to this. Like, this level of performance here in Pragmata, at this type of setting, is not possible on an iGPU, not even close, right? So you often pick up a mini PC if you have a laptop, like, I can have a laptop with Thunderbolt 5, MacBook, right, with Thunderbolt 4, Thunderbolt 5, whichever one you get, and you don't get even remotely this kind of performance out of the GPU in that. You can also use it for things like video editing, production tasks, AI tasks, whatever it is that you're doing. If you pick up a mini PC, a lot of mini PCs will have a decent CPU, maybe not the best, but reasonable CPU, but they can't even get close to this in terms of GPU performance. So you can pick up even a Beelink, right? Get a Beelink, little small mini size Beelink with a decent CPU in it, like a AMD 8-core processor, Intel or something like that, relatively modern. You're not going to do too much with that iGPU. You probably do some basic stuff, but not this. Get yourself this here. If you happen to have an eGPU dock, set it up and you're good to go. Right? All this is coming through this little port here. Right? This little port here in the back, it's actually this one here, is plugged into my mini PC, 80 gigabit per second port. I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4 NVMe's out of it. I'm getting access to the speaker, the Bluetooth, right? There is audio here. I'm just not showing it, but there is audio here. I'm also getting access, obviously, to this eGPU. Okay, so let's test a couple more things. I do want to point out it does have a fan in it. Let's check how noisy the fan is here. It's about 1 dB above my noise floor. It's also right in front of me. I actually didn't notice when I was filming earlier that it was producing sound. Okay, so we're going to test the audio here. We'll do it with Windows set up here. You could do it on Mac, you could do it on Windows. Just kind of see how this thing sounds here. We'll just make sure that we're using the right output. So you can see here we do have access to sound input. That's the USB audio. So that's going to be the input. My mini PC obviously doesn't have a microphone hooked up, doesn't have a microphone built into it, so that's nice. So we'll come back here. Play sound there, it's going to be coming out of here. Input microphone is going to also be coming from there. So you can see USB audio. So inputs are going to come into here and outputs are going to come out of there as well. Let's just quickly do a quick audio test and see how this thing sounds. Now, all these different functions built into it, so many different functions. It has a speaker. The speaker obviously is going to be useful for playing music, obviously. I think, the primary focus is more, doing this kind of stuff, interfacing with it. If you're having meetings, all that kind of stuff, if you're doing audio playback, all that kind of stuff is going to be a primary function of a device like this. However, it does sound good for listening to music. It has a surprising amount of low-end bass considering how tiny it is, just a little wee speaker. And, mid-range is good, high-range is good. It actually kind of reminds me of like a good set of laptop speakers. It's not going to be a MacBook Pro, but it does sound actually pretty damn good. And it gets loud, obviously, very loud, especially if it's right in front of you. So the audio is actually quite good. Now, why does that matter? Well, it's also a Bluetooth, part of it is, you're going to be using this potentially to listen to music, but it's also a Bluetooth speaker, right? So we're going to go like that.
Bluetooth mode.
Bluetooth mode. Come in here. Now, it is searching for the Bluetooth. I have some other stuff hooked up, apparently. Mate Pro, it's already there. I didn't know.
Connected.
Now, I am a little worried about playing music that's not allowed to be played, so I'm just going to come over here. You can come in here, you can play, sure, we'll do that. It's gonna be very loud probably. You play this again. And then of course you can play audio directly off of this. So one of the cool things about this is, even though you're gonna be hooking it up to your Mac or your PC or whatever it is, using it that way, when you're not using it with that anymore, it doesn't become just a dead piece of kit that just sits on a shelf, right? It's not just like, okay, this is now useless. It turns into a Bluetooth speaker. So that's a really good idea. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to make it turn into a Bluetooth speaker, right? The fact that you can then use it as a secondary device is awesome. You can also, use microphone type stuff there, microphone off, microphone on, and I can use that as an input. So we'll come in here. So it's now working as a microphone, right? So the microphone is now playing over here, or recording over here, rather than on this device. So if I'm using an iPhone or if I have a PC or whatever it is nice that there is quad microphone setup right in front of us here. Right, it's going to be off to the side on the mini PC over here. It doesn't have a microphone at all. I could hook one up and bring one in, but then it's another piece of kit. If I have a laptop, MacBook, whatever down here, for example, yeah, I mean, the microphone might pick up some of the audio when it's clamshelled and set under there, but it's not going to sound very good. And I mean, generally speaking, laptop microphones suck anyways. So I mean, it's not. I'm assuming it's not going to beat out some big boy thing, like a dedicated microphone, but let's test it. Let's do some playback. Okay, so here's the next setup here. I have two laptops. One is a little brighter. One is a MacBook M1. Doesn't really matter which one we use. Just an Apple Silicon. And then over here we have a Surface. What's interesting about these? They're both super thin and lights with basically terrible storage and terrible expansion. Here we have two USB-C on that side and a headphone jack. That's it. It is Thunderbolt, which is nice. Over here, same kind of idea. We have one USB-C, a USB-A, and then we have this kind of proprietary thing over here, which actually, it didn't even come with that, so I don't even have that. So very minimal port selection on these guys over here. Yeah, and they both have, I mean, the M1 has a decent iGPU. This one here has a 12th gen processor. It actually has a terrible, quite a terrible iGPU in it. XE. You can do video editing on 12th gen processors as well. Like, it will work, but it's not going to be that fast. So the fact that you can, you know, hook up the eGPU that I was just using, make these much faster for that kind of stuff is really nice. Especially the Windows machine. I can even use that same software. eGPU is going to be really good. This is actually a decent enough performance on CPU. I could actually turn this into a gaming PC pretty fast. The other side that's very important here is we're able to hook up whichever one you want here and just massively expand your capabilities here. So let's get the Windows machine out of here. We've already used the Windows machine, the Mini, Lexar, Beelink, right away. So all that storage that was on my Mini PC over there, now all of a sudden it's showing up on the Mac here. And we can plug in this here. So on the other device over there, I wasn't using the internal build. I was outputting directly from the Mini PC. Here, we're not going to do that. Here, we're actually going to output directly from the Beelink here. So we're going to plug this in here. It has the included one, right, that comes with it. I'm just lazy. So just going to go like that. That's already plugged into my screen. And now, go over here. We're on the Mac. So bring that. Where did it go? There it is. It's over there, right? So you can, all in one. Right, MacBooks don't necessarily have good ports, especially at Air. You know, Pros are okay. They have okay storage. Not the best, but they have a little bit to work with. You can get an HDMI out. Here we don't have an HDMI out. We don't have a lot of ports on it. MacBook Pros, you get a little bit more I/O. Right, you do get an HDMI out, which is nice. Here we don't have that. There's no HDMI out at all on a MacBook Air. There's very little in terms of ports. You have two. Honestly, that's all you have there. Over here, we're plugged in here. I have my Mac hooked up, so I go about my day. I'm on the go. I have my Mac here. Do it, bring it home, and I want to get more serious. Or if you have a Mac Mini, you could use that as well. Mac Mini would go nice with this, of course. But let's say, you know, you go about your day, you take your Mac with you, come sit down, you're like, okay, that was my mobile thing, but when I'm at home, I want to have a much more dedicated desktop type setup with all the extra fixings. I want to have those extra storage, right? The 4 NVMe's in there. Now I have 4 NVMe's here. Format them how you want. It's your choice. Right? I have 2 of them that are recognized for Mac, 2 of them that are only for Windows. You could do whatever you want. The other things that I have access to, I have the external screen, right? So I don't have to have this plugged in here. And then this is only Thunderbolt 4, right? MacBook Pros have Thunderbolt 5, so it's going to be faster, but it's backwards compatible. So you can use this with Thunderbolt 4, USB 4. You don't have to use it with Thunderbolt 5. You don't have to own a Thunderbolt 5 or USB 80 gigabit device. It's backwards compatible. Which one of the nice things is here, this thing doesn't cost a lot of money. Like, it is shockingly cheap. So you buy this right now, even if you don't have a Thunderbolt 5 device like I do, you are able to come in here and use this now, and then down the road when you update to a Thunderbolt 5 or USB 80 gigabit, you have this device already. So it's the same case here. You know, this is a MacBook Air. There's no speakers here on the bottom, right? So, you know, if I run it open, it's okay if I have this open, right? But you can still use it in the meantime, right? Why buy a device that is not forward thinking only goes at 40 gigabit when you can buy the one that goes to 80 gigabit, use it now. When you get your new device, you're already cooking, right? Very nice. I'm not sure where that says New York, but I'm definitely not in New York. It's fantastic. The other thing you can do is you can close this. Now, I want to show you something here. Remember how I said before? These are up-firing speakers right here. The Mac has its own audio, but when I close this, it automatically kills that screen. It goes to this screen up here. Lovely. But my speakers are now inside of the Mac. They're inside of here. So you'll hear them, but they're going to be very muffled, right? So now what I can do is actually take this away over here, or I can have it on a stand, whatever. Some people would have it as the auxiliary screen. Some people would tuck it away like that. Don't have to even touch it now. All the ports are gone. I can't access this thing. I can push it even further back now, completely out of the way, right? The Mac is gone. The Mac is recessed into the darkness down there. Right? If you're, I have a pretty messy setup because I'm doing all this testing, but if you had a nice clean setup, that's pretty sweet. Or, you know, you have your Mac over to the side, pretend this was the Mac or the PC over to the side over here, and you know, you have that as a secondary monitor, the actual laptop itself being the secondary monitor, with the primary being that. You can do that, but a lot of the time I would actually just close that down. Stick it under, and my Mac has now turned into a sort of Mac Mini. Now, unlike the Mac Mini or unlike the Mac itself, this thing is going to be pretty stacked up. That's another drive that I just used. Plug that in, right? Take your work with you, share files. You can do that kind of stuff. There's a USB-C right there. Plug that in, right? This is the Thunderbolt 5 port, so you can do fast. Like I could use that, or I could use this Thunderbolt 5 enclosure that I was using earlier. Now, as I mentioned before, the sound output on the Mac is a problem because now my Mac is closed. The speakers are inside that. They're closed with the clamshell. It's also pushed back there. Sound will come out, but it'll be pretty hard to hear. Not a problem, right? So you come up here, you just go into your sound output here. That's the MacBook speakers. That's like a monitor or whatever. We're going to go with, I have a speaker in my living room. I'm not going to use that, obviously. We're going to go that there. USB audio. That's what's being detected by Windows, and that's this here. It has the HDMI coming out. It has the audio now coming directly here, which is obviously much easier to hear out of a very large speaker that's not being muffled by being closed and tucked under there. So that's fantastic. I'm going to now have access, of course, to HDMI. The Mac is physically closed and away. It's out of the way. But despite that, I obviously have video. I have significantly increased my storage. Now all of a sudden I have, gets out here, I have 4 NVMe's built in. Obviously that's fantastic. I also have access to more ports here, 1, 2. Thunderbolt 5 capable or USB 80 gigabit capable, whichever you want, in the front there. It is backwards compatible. We already proved that. Dongles and that kind of stuff, all going to work. Mouse and keyboard's hooked up. So I've taken this here, which obviously with a mini PC is going to be fantastic. I've already talked about it. Or if you're a Mac user, if you have a Mac Mini, or even more impressive than all of these things so far, because yeah, like if you get a Beelink mini PC, it typically has like pretty decent ports. Like it's not bad, to be honest. Not like a huge desktop level, but it's not bad. It's going to be way better than something like a Mac Air, especially, that just has 2, right? And again, this is a USB Thunderbolt 4, not Thunderbolt 5. That's okay. It's still backwards compatible. If you get yourself, you know, the more recent MacBook Pro, then you'll have access to Thunderbolt 5. You'll be able to fully leverage it. But even so, like, it's not a big deal. You can still leverage these NVMe chips. They're still going to be quick. We've already showed what the speeds are. Still very snappy. So that is fantastic. Okay, so I mean, that's kind of the video. Simple conclusion, best product I've ever reviewed on my channel. Best product. Not only is this product crazy good, but it's so cheap for what it is. Now, I'm not going to say that it's like, oh, it costs 20 bucks. Like, that doesn't make sense. But the value on this thing is insane, right? Single 480 gigabit type enclosures like this, like they're like hundreds of dollars, literally hundreds of dollars, right? If you get a quad bay NVMe type setup, even if they're only USB 4, they're hundreds of dollars. Now this is Thunderbolt 5. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for something like that. A Bluetooth speaker, you can get a Bluetooth speaker like that's this kind of quality for, 50, 60 bucks, but that's just an extra feature built in, and it hooks up to your PC. Free feature, and a microphone built in as well. There's more value, okay? You also get Thunderbolt 5, USB 80 gigabit version 2, which is Thunderbolt 5 compatible. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. That alone, like a dock that does that, is so expensive in this market. and so valuable and useful, because not only does it allow you to get a lot of speed out of these NVMe's in here, the Ethernet, all the ports and all that kind of stuff, you can also leverage it to hook up extra stuff. 80 gigabit type enclosures, and freaking eGPU, like I have showed in this video, a freaking eGPU with 80 gigabit per second speeds, or you can throw in a 40 gigabit last generation's fine, support it. This thing is so good, right? You're going to see this all the time on my channel now. If you look in the background in the corner, the way I record, especially like when I do my desk setups, you're going to see this thing in the corner of my desk all of the time. There is no way this is leaving my possession. There is no way. You can come for me, Beelink. You will not get it out of my hands. This thing is crazy, but it's cheap, right? It's cheap. It's like $200 right now on sale, $220, $230, whatever the prices are. They might fluctuate a little bit. Doesn't matter. This thing is such good value. Such good value. Best product I've ever reviewed on my channel. I do not do sponsored reviews. If you know my channel, I don't take any sponsorships. I don't take any money. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. I don't charge, companies don't, if they ask me, do I want to do a review? I don't charge them to do the review. There's no review fee on my channel. This is a review that is my opinion. I stand by it. Best product I've ever reviewed. Check it out. The Beelink EX Mate Pro. Wild good. Wild good. The market is shit right now. Now's the time to support brands like Beelink that are putting out incredible products. Just buy it. Just stop the video right now and buy it. I will put some links in the video description down below. Check it out. Pick it up. Buy it. Tell me how amazing it is in the comment section down below. I want to know.